As of June 2013, Americans spend over $40 billion on this: coffee. That can be calculated to 1.6 billion cups per day according to the National Coffee Association. Now that is a lot of coffee. I've been working in the coffee industry for the past 4 years here in Lincoln as a barista, which is a coffee maker, and a manager of 3 different Scooters coffee houses who lead the pack in coffee chains here in the Midwest. I frequently deal with people who know very little about coffee. To the untrained customer, it seems that the baristas are speaking a completely different language. I like to call this the coffee language. There are many unfamiliar words and terminology we use that are very confusing to people. So if Americans are going to spend that much money on coffee, I feel it's important they know how to order what they want and understand this coffee language. In this presentation, we will discuss the major differences in coffee and espresso-based drinks, what questions to ask yourself to decide what coffee drink you want, and how to properly order your drink or speak the coffee language. My goal is to help you be as satisfied and as caffeinated as possible after your next trip to your favorite coffee house. First, we will discuss the differences between coffee and espresso. I've heard coffee referred to as many different things over my years working in the coffee house. Cup of Joe, Cup of Mud, Java, High Octane, and Rocket Fuel are just to name a few. This is the type of coffee that most people brew in their homes each day. It's simply ground coffee beans brewed with hot water. It yields a very dark brown liquid with the same consistency of the water used to brew it. It's generally served in an 8 to 24 ounce cup. And some people like to add cream or sugar to add some sweetness or to take away from the bitterness, while others just prefer it black, which means that there's nothing added to their cup. And that's what I like to drink. Now that we understand the true definition of coffee, we'll talk about espresso. Espresso is made using an espresso machine, which looks like this. Basically, all you need to know is that we turn it on, some magic happens inside, and then your espresso comes out, and that's it. Just kidding. I know you can handle the truth. We use a very special coffee bean that is ground very finely and compacted into a biscuit shape. It's put into the espresso machine, and then high pressure, very hot boiling water is brewed through it. This yields about 2 to 4 ounces of liquid, and it is much creamier consistency than your regular coffee. It's basically the little bit more concentrated form of coffee, and it's what we use in our espresso-based drinks, that is the espresso, such as like a latte, which we'll talk about in the next portion of the presentation, and this is just the coffee portion of that latte. According to coffeechemistry.com, as far as caffeine content goes, a 12-ounce cup of coffee and a 12-ounce espresso-based drink will generally have the same caffeine content. Keeping that in mind, we'll move on to deciding what type of coffee drink you want to order in your next trip to the coffee house. So you're at the coffee house, it's time to decide what you want to drink. You know you can decide between a regular cup of coffee and an espresso-based drink. You're feeling slightly adventurous and decide to take the leap from your normal black coffee to an espresso-based drink. You stare up at the looming menu board above you, and then everything gets confusing. But never fear, I will give you the menu board breakdown. So, there's a couple different ways you can order your drinks. We have hot, iced, and blended, as you see here. So hot, as you see here, espresso and steamed milk. Iced, cold milk and espresso over ice cubes. And then blended is going to be technically the same thing, just blended, with the ice like a smoothie. Almost all drinks can be made either way, and there's some special exceptions just depending on the coffee house, but your barista will be more than happy to explain those to you. The first item on the board is the hot latte. As mentioned earlier, as you see here, it is steamed milk with espresso, and then you can add any sort of flavoring that you want to it. The most popular latte in my experience is the vanilla latte. It's a fan favorite, and it's a good choice when you're beginning, your adventure into your espresso drink-based realm. So plot twist, it's also almost 100 degrees outside. You don't want to drink a hot latte on a day like today, so good news, you can also get the same drink cold. So you can do an iced vanilla latte, which is, as you saw, was just the same thing poured over the ice cubes, or a blended vanilla latte, which is the same but put into a blender. Make sense? See, the menu board is much easier to digest when you break it down this way in your head. Read over all the available flavors in the menu board and decide what sounds good to you, then decide if you want it hot, iced, or blended. Now that you've decided, what drink you want to order, we're going to discuss how to order it. This can really be the most difficult part of the process for people. When my mom first started visiting coffee houses on her own, she struggled being able to tell the barista exactly what she wanted. So she would make me write it down for her on a piece of paper so she could read it to the barista word for word. And since a lot of you maybe don't have access to someone like me who can do that for you, I'm just going to teach you how to do it all on your own. So there are 4 specific details to be able to tell your barista, what you want to order to receive the correct drink. The first most important detail will be the size of your drink. Every store is different, so it might be that they do a small, medium, or large. Some places like Starbucks, they have special names for their sizes. So you really just have to consult the menu board. It's also okay to actually just give the ounce size for the cup that you want. So for me, whenever I visit a Starbucks, I don't really remember their sizing system very well, so I just order a 20-ounce coffee or a 16-ounce latte just to ensure that I get the cup size that I want and I don't mess up the order just because I don't understand the sizing system or I don't remember. Also pay attention to the sizes of the hot and cold cups because sometimes they can be different. For example, at Scooters, a 12-ounce hot drink is a small and a 16-ounce cold drink is a small cold. So pay attention to that to make sure you get the actual size that you want. The second important piece of information is the drink that you want. So this would be like your black coffee, vanilla latte, mocha, anything like that. So it's the actual drink that you decide you want. And then the next step is very important step as well that a lot of people forget is the temperature of the drink that you want. So this is where you tell them if you want the hot, iced, or blended. Majority of coffee houses, the default temperature of drinks is going to be hot unless it's indicated by the customer otherwise. So if in your head you want an iced vanilla latte, but all you say is vanilla latte, you're going to get it hot. So make sure to tell your barista if you want it a certain way other than hot. The fourth and final step are any additions that you want made to your drink. So whether it's an extra shot of espresso for extra caffeine, a little boost, whipped cream, cream or sugar in your coffee, anything like that. This may come as a shock to people, but baristas are not mind readers. If you want something extra in your drink, you must tell us. Also, when ordering at a drive-thru, be sure to speak clearly so the barista can hear your complete order. Also, be sure to include any additional drinks or pastry or food items that you want. Tell the barista everything you want and make sure to say it clearly so they get your complete order at the order box if you're in the drive-thru. Ordering additional items at the window may be slightly frustrating because the barista wants to get you your order and all of your items as fast and as high quality as possible, and the same goes for everyone else behind the line behind you. So if you feel the barista has given you an exceptional service and a great cup of coffee, also be sure to show them your appreciation through a small tip. Most baristas make a majority of their money from tips given by customers. In conclusion, you now know the major differences between the coffee drinks, guidelines to decide what type of drink you want to order, and how to order it. Coffee is such a major part of our society. I just wanted to do my part to make sure everyone is properly caffeinated with their perfect beverage. If you're going to spend all the money for it, it better be enjoyable. So now you know all the necessary elements to make your next coffee shop experience the best and easiest it's ever been. Thank you.